Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. I am Ali Bishara, Head of Information Security and Risk Management in Benefit Company, Bahrain. I'm proud to be speaking in front of you in this respectful summit, and I'll be speaking about an important topic and trying to link it with the fintech, because this is something very important, and from my experience, sometimes it is missed, or sometimes there are some burdens or obstacles in implementing it properly. I'll be speaking about information security, but from a managerial point of view, so that when communicating with your security people, you will be able to understand why they need this device, why they need this solution, and so forth. So often we have some communication gaps. Even through our studies, they were saying don't use acronyms or abbreviations in front of others. And this is happening even in security. So if your security people are asking for budgets for IAM, SOC, FIM, etc., this might not resonate with a CEO or a CFO or other managerial positions. They know return on investment, they know budgets, they know strategy. So these things are needed to be explained, and I'll try to give the reasons why we need these things as security people. So here we need to simplify things and communicate better to approach our matters together. Now, there are some trials and some efforts done by many organizations around the world to standardize the language of speaking between managerial and technical. One of them is the COBIT, which is the Control Objectives for Information Technology, Business Information Technology. So this framework is a trial to formalize the speech and the language between us. It is a governance model that takes business into its perspective and technical things. It is kind of governing your IT infrastructure and your all service delivery. However, things can get a little bit tricky and complicated. So we need specialized people in information security, like we need specialized and certified accountants. We need people who are specialized in information security as well. However, there is a need for a layer between these two technical, like highly technical people. So this thing is developed by experience and by management getting involved into the delivery of IT security. Another framework that is widely used, which is the NIST Cybersecurity framework. This is an optional framework for us in our region. However, in the United States, it is mandatory on some critical infrastructure, governmental critical infrastructure. So this is a framework that is widely acceptable outside the United States, and it's also being embedded into the regulations that the governments put. So, for example, in Bahrain, this framework has been embedded into the operational risk modules on all banks and ancillary service providers. So you will see like this framework with slight adjustments to counter for our environment. I will go through these parts of the NIST framework and speak about them in a simplified manner. This might not be 100% technically accurate, but I want to pass on the idea of each and every part of the framework. So the framework has 5 main areas: identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. This is following like a cycle that is improving. So you're not starting from a level of maturity or level 4 or 3. This will help you prioritize your efforts. This will help you to know what you need to address in cybersecurity, because cybersecurity is a big field, like other respectful fields of management, accounting, science, and technology. So cybersecurity is a big field. So this is a trial or an effort to help you prioritize and know what should be done. So in identify, we need to identify and know what we have inside our organization. It will talk about asset management, it will talk about the governance model, the laws and regulations that apply to us. And first of it is asset management. We have multiple and different types of assets. So and this is the very beginning, and the basic steps of that is knowing what you have, so you know what you want to protect. So you'll have like human resources, you'll have information resources, you'll have managerial resources, you'll have your brand, you'll have the data, of course, you have servers, workstations, etc., source code. So we need to identify what we need to protect for the next step. Then we need to know our business environment. Where are we working? We need to know who is our competitor, who is our who's in the delivery chain of our services, what laws and regulations apply to us, because not complying with laws and regulations will of course put you in jeopardy if you will be fined or something like that. So, and also we need to know the governance, put on the governance. Who is the leader of this initiative, of the information security project? Who is the sponsor? Which staff are handling the security things? Which staff are responsible for the code? Who is managing awareness? Who is managing that? So all this governance model needs to be put in place. Then we have a critical part, which is risk assessment. We need to assess the risk that is on our data and on our infrastructure, on our organization, or even on our vendors who we rely a lot on. So as an example, if you are at a school, for example, you will need your to make sure that your vendor, for example, food and cafeteria, is available for every day, because you want your students to be having food and cafeteria services throughout the year. Also, and then if we have identified the risks, we need to put some strategies to mitigate these risks, and to put strategies whether we accept this risk, whether we don't accept it. We need to put, of course, our level of risk appetite, how much risk we are willing to take and how much we are not willing to take. It might get a little bit bigger as well and complicated if we have multiple and different resources. So with this kind of resources, for example, you have credit card data, you will not be tolerant of a lot of risk. But in other areas where, like normal attendance software or other software that is just helping you, this could take more risk. However, on credit card data, you are liable for the certification and protecting the credit card data. Another layer, which is the protect layer. After we have identified our assets, we need to protect them. And here is where your security guys will come in and ask for a lot of budgets. And this might be a little bit not clear for our CFOs, for our leadership, why we are requesting that much budget. Security services are not very cheap, and you need a lot of specialized security. So you have access control. Here you will hear them saying that I need IAM, Identity and Access Management Software. I need two-factor authentication. I need to review. This is, from our experience, is one of the pain points, which is reviewing the access on example monthly basis, quarterly basis, depending on the certification you're going for. And then you have awareness and training. Your first line of defense is your employees and your leadership, even up to the vendors, third-party vendors. You can have the best solutions to protect your infrastructure, best firewalls, best MFA, best encryption. However, if one of your employees clicks on a fraudulent link or ransomware, for example, installed on one of the machines, then you have lost all these layers and you are hit from the inside. So awareness and training for the employees is crucial upon entry in the organization, and on annual basis, and on frequent basis. You need to do some training, you need to do some phishing exercises, and here. So this can be outsourced, can be done from within your organization. Then you need to protect the data. We have identified the data. Here also you will hear some acronyms like FIM, File Integrity Monitoring, and Web Access Gateway, firewalls, and stuff like that. So these are solutions to protect your data. Not protecting your data might put the business into big risk. And then you have the policies and procedures. You know, we see these guys on the screen now. You wouldn't like to be under an operation where there's no like policies and procedures for doing this kind of operation. So when you have clear policies and communicated policies and procedures, this would be more effective for your information security program. Then we need to maintain our policies and procedures. We need to maintain our information data security. So here you will have to get like regular checks, regular VAPT, regular awareness, and you will be asked to do things repeatedly depending on the certification that you are going for. Protective technology, you will need a lot of investment in these things depending on your risk appetite and the type of data that you have. So during our risk assessment, sometimes when you say, for example, the availability and confidentiality and the integrity of the information. For example, in aerospace, they will need the weather information quicker. This information sometimes is publicly available, so they will say, I want the availability to be on a higher importance than other aspects like confidentiality. It's public information, so I don't need to protect it when it's with me as well. So, and then you have one important thing is the detection of anomalies. Your system is running. I've identified my assets, I've identified my resources, I've identified the procedures and the baselines of how things are running. Then we need to detect anything that is abnormal. So if, for example, employee X is logged in from his machine, which is in the headquarters, and logging to a server, this is normal behavior. But when he is attending in a different office and then connecting to that server, which is something not normal for him, we need to put things in place to detect these anomalies. These anomalies can be detected by, again, other security solutions. You will hear SIM, security event and monitoring, and you'll have some other higher level firewalls. You will have other solutions, and we have some of the vendors here in this summit who offer a lot of these solutions to detect the anomalies, because manually detecting them will be kind of challenging. So you will need to invest into like AI solutions that will do the detection for you it will need a learning time to learn the behavior of your network, of your clients, of your servers, and anything that is suspicious or interesting, it will flag it for you. Then another one, which is security continuous monitoring. This is something that's being pushed, as far as I know, in Bahrain, is to have like security operations centers to monitor all the actions that are happening. Any security alerts, any events, somebody needs to look at them on a timely basis, and he needs to communicate them, the event, to your security or your technical people who are actually responsible for responding to this event. The requirement is to have 24/7 monitoring. Fraudsters and hackers that will know the time of your working hours and not working hours, when they can attack, when they cannot attack, when they expect you to respond quickly, and when they expect you to be unaware of such an attack. Of course, no company is 100% secure, but we do the best effort to protect that. Of course, the detection, the NIST framework, you will see that it's emphasizing on putting policies, procedures, and processes, because these processes are helping your employees to do what they are supposed to do on a timely basis and consistently. If you're not consistent in what you're delivering, then there might be missed events, missed reporting, or the SOC, the Security Operations Center, would not know if this was not put into a process. They would not know who to communicate to. They might call the wrong person. They might call the other wrong person, delaying the response that we need to take, which is the next step, that we are responding to events and to take action on them, and also to contain the impact of the problem. If I have ransomware, if I have a machine that is attacked, I want to stop the spreading of this virus or this ransomware from harming my operations. So without a plan, then we'll be going left and right without any solution. Response planning might, if we are now in easy time, we don't have an event, it is a good time to plan what we are going to do if this happens, what if this happens, and what not. We are now at a low stress environment. This is time where you do some business continuity management. This is where you do tabletop exercises, where you have an imaginary event that happens to the organization, and your executives are sitting, your technical guys are sitting, and you can bring also your vendors to see how they are prepared, they are to respond with you to the event. Then you need to communicate this plan. The plan, if it's put into the drawers, then it is in the drawers. You need to communicate this plan. You need to communicate to the people who are on your call list that you are going to be called if there is an event that is malicious. So everybody knows his role, and we need to check the response and communication, because if you communicate to the person, he might say that when I'm on leave, I have this person replacing me. So, and then we need to analyze what happened during the event, during our response, how fast we are, and where we delayed in doing some response, so that we can improve and we mitigate the problem that happened when we go back to normal, and then Also, we need to put some lessons learned, because the events, according to their severity, have to be recorded, and any anomalies, any problems that we have in our implementation of the plan need to be addressed for the future, so that we are learning. A plan is only a plan, so we're trying our best efforts to plan for the event that might affect our infrastructure. However, we might miss some points here and there, and this is a lesson learned for us to improve. Also, then, the recovery. What activities do I need to take to bring back the business to normal? We have identified the problem, detected, for example, a phishing attack, and we have stopped it. One of our employees have clicked on the link and his machine might have been infected. We responded to that, and we learned from that lesson that, for example, we need more awareness about phishing, and some other awareness about security for our employees, or maybe we need some adjustments to in the protect phase, when we need improvements to our firewalls and into our mail systems, mail gateways, and stuff like that. Then, in recovering, we're trying to bring back the functionality of the systems, and with this, we have to do a plan for recovery. What would need to be done? What can we do? What should we communicate to the vendors? What should we communicate to our users? What should we communicate to our customers? We need to have this in place before anything happens. If things happen, our response might be delayed, and we might take a response that is inappropriate, and this might affect our brand. This might affect our reputation if we respond incorrectly, or if we are late for responding. And also the improvements. You see improvements coming in multiple stages of the implementation of the framework. We're always improving. Plan, do, check, act. This is the dynamic cycle. It's embedded into many ISO standards, like the ISO 9001 for quality assurance, ISO 27001 for information security management systems. This is embedded into many of them. Plan, we plan our work, we do it, we check whether it's working or not, and we act and do continual improvements. The NIST Cybersecurity framework does not prescribe a solution, but it's just a list of what you need to do, and it will give you also indications of your maturity. So it have different maturity levels, and as I've mentioned earlier in the beginning, that you grow with it step by step. It's gonna be difficult and challenging, and even risky to go and embark on all the security controls mentioned in the cybersecurity framework. And then we need to communicate to others that we have recovered from an event. God forbid, if this happens, we communicate, we try to gain back the trust of our customers and vendors and our stakeholders. And this would be a full framework. So in a nutshell, this framework has multiple areas. We start from identifying our assets, our business environment, risk management strategy, and that protection. We protect our identity, the security, data security, maintenance, etc. Then we detect anomalies. Then we do continuous monitoring. We do a detection process, etc. And then we respond to events if they happen. Of course, we have to be prepared for the events, doing some policies, procedures for the event. And then we have recovery planning and improvements and communications to our third parties and internally, of course. So in summary, information governance is an integral part of fintech delivery. you are providing financial services, and you're heavily dependent on information systems, so information security is one of the top priorities. There is a need for clear communications between technical and non-technical people and managerial levels. We recommend the use of internationally accepted standards as a good starting point. It's very challenging to start your own information security program without any guidance. We have mentioned a few of them: the COBIT, the NIST, we have the ISO 27001 for information security management systems. We need to have a good starting point so that we don't waste our resources. And also we advise to embrace information security even if it's not yet mandated. This is from what I have seen right now. Regulations have come and with a short target date, and the companies, the fintech companies, banks were were rushing into getting the solutions. These security solutions need time to be planned and to be implemented and to be improved. So if you are now in a relaxed time, it's advisable to at least look at the NIST framework, for example, and start seeing and identify any gaps that you can fill and getting them clear. So thank you very much for your time, and take control of your information.